Hello, dear students. Welcome back. This is our third video regarding the topic. It is time to call the bluff. And in this video, we are going to concentrate on the grammar components or language activity that is attached to it is time to call the bluff. The last lesson, which is prescribed for second semester BSc, Bengaluru North University and Bengaluru University. Okay, first let us see what we have seen, what we have discussed in the last chapter, I mean last class or last video. Uh, we talked about uh, the lesson, it is time to call the bluff as a review, film review. Okay, and on which film can you tell me it's time to call the bluff a review? Of course, it is Bahubali 2. It's time to call the bluff is a review, a film review on Bahubali 2. Okay. So what is a review? Review is talking, discussing, analyzing about the movie that you have seen, that you have understood, and you can talk about the casting, that means actors and actresses, storyline, and all whatever is related to it, and whether it is worthy watching, what are the values. Okay, a complete assessment of the movie, that is a review. Okay, it may be a movie, or it may be a book, or a book which you have read, or a program which you have attended, or a food, one of the food items that you have tasted in a restaurant. Like that, many reviews, many types of reviews are there. So it's time to call the bluff is a film review. Okay, and what is a film review? Whatever you do, you assess after watching a movie, what you assess, what you talk, okay, what you write, that is a film review. And my next question is, on what features does the author talk about the film? Okay, so this it's time to call the bluff is very different from other reviews, other film reviews. How? We have seen in the last two videos that author doesn't talk at all about the story. He doesn't give a plot analysis or the storyline of the movie. Other than that, he goes on talking about the worthiness of the movie, okay, and the people's response to that movie, and the movie as an entertainment, and what is entertainment, if it is an entertainment, if it is called as an entertainment, what is entertainment, and movie, does movie have any other values than only entertainment. Okay, in that way, beyond the normal film review, it is a special extraordinary film review, where he talks other than common things. Okay, and next question is, do the filmmakers have any responsibility with regard to society? Of course, in the last two videos, we have seen that filmmakers definitely have ethical responsibility. Okay, because it is a system of, sorry, it is a product of a system. Society allows it to allows the filmmakers to do films. That is why they have to they are answerable to the ethical questions raised by the public. Public concerns are answerable by the filmmakers. My last question in the beginning of the video is, what is the worry of the author at the end? So we have seen in the video, last video, that there is a great worry for the author. What is that worry? People are going to watch worthless movies very commonly. That is worse than making worthless movies. Okay, so that is the worry of the author. With that, he ends the review. Okay, so now in this video, with this background, with this testing of your previous knowledge, let us go let us go focus on language activity, first language activity that is there in the textbook. The title of the language activity is writing a review. Okay, so remember students, let me repeat the topic of language activity, writing a review. Okay, so it's time to call the bluff is a review about Bahubali or two film review. Okay, so and how to write a review. You have read it already, you have understood it already. It's time to call the bluff is a film review. Okay, and one can write reviews about books also, and about plays, dramas that you have watched or that you have read. Okay, and movies that you have watched, and products that you have used. Okay, for example, you are using a computer. Okay, on that product also you can write a review. And also services. Okay, goods, I mean products and services, on that also you can write your review. And you could also review the World Cup football finals, cricket matches also can be reviewed. And first you have to watch them, then you can review. And even the food you ate on which, in a restaurant, on that also you can write a review. Okay, um, other reviews normally talk about the basic plot, the production, acting, scene, box office predictions, etc. etc. I've already told you. It's time to call the bluff doesn't talk about the production, doesn't talk about the box office predictions, doesn't talk about the plot, etc. It is an extraordinary, it is different, distinct from other reviews. Okay, and this review, it's time to call the bluff, connects the movie to larger questions that affect the society. Okay, so how the society is being affected by the movie, in that way, in I mean that aspect he focuses more on the lesson. And this language activity section talks about what a review is, and also a few points to help in writing a review. Okay, so in this video we are going to talk about review, what a review is, and what are the few points that help in writing a review. These things let us see in this video. And first let us see the definition of a review. What is a review? Concentrate students, I am going to say the definition of a review. A review is a write-up, that means a written piece that evaluates or judges something. Evaluates, judges something. Your write-up is going to judge something, assess something, evaluate something. It is a way of letting other people know if you like the book, if you like a film, or if you like a program, etc. It's a short description. A review is a short description to express your opinion and recommendation about a book, film, product, etc. Okay, so this is the definition of a review. Review is a write-up. Okay, it is a way of letting other people to know if you like the book or film or program, etc. It's a short description to express your opinion and recommendation about the book or a movie or a product. Okay, that is the definition of a review. Before starting to write a review, do a simple preparatory exercise for writing a film review. Let us do a preparatory exercises. Okay, so in your textbook it is there, you try that, but anyway I am going to read it out. You try along with the video, watching the video you can try it. Say if the following sentences are true or false related to review. Okay, my first sentence is, you should watch a film before writing a review. Is it true? Definitely you should watch it. Okay, you should give your opinion of the film. Definitely you have to give your opinion. Yes, true it is. And you should give the basic information of the film, including the title, names of actors, director, etc. Of course you have to give. Okay, and anyway it is time to call the bluff, it is not given. That is a little bit different, distinct, but it is necessary to give it. True it is. Okay, you should talk about every individual aspect of the film, including cinematography, background score, music, direction, etc. It is not needed. Okay, it's not needed to give each and every description of the movie. Review is just what is necessary. If you talk about it enough, okay, you are assessing it, not just describing it. So that's not necessary. Next, last point is you should tell the readers whether the film is worth their time. Definitely, that is done in your. It is time to call the bluff. Okay, whether it is worthy or not. So that has to be told. Recommendation, opinion should be given by the author, right? So this was our preparatory exercise. Next up, some disordered sentences are given. That means randomly sentences are given. They are not in order. You have to order them, organize them in an order. Okay, logical order, in a sequential order. Let us see. You try that in the textbook. Okay, anyway, I have ordered it. I have also given the number, correct order number also. You can see the PPT, and uh, now I'm going to read them. You just listen. Okay, and first question here, sorry, first sentence here is the Titanic. It is about Titanic movie. You must have all watched Titanic. Okay, the first sentence should come. The Titanic is a $200 million film in the tradition of the great Hollywood epics. That is the first sentence, but it has gone somewhere in the middle. Okay, I hope you're understanding, you are catching my point. So next sentence should be, it is directed by James Cameron. It is well crafted and spellbinding. That should be your second sentence. So, but it is also gone in the middle. Next, third sentence is, the romantic angle to the film is provided by actors like Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio, who look very convincing in their roles. So that should be your third sentence. That is also in the middle. Okay, you have to change the order according to this. Then fourth sentence is the last sentence actually. Okay, so the two fall in love when on a voyage in the ship and become witnesses of the last hours of the ship. Okay, last hours of the ship. That should be the fourth sentence. Fifth sentence is, it has both drama and history in the right proportion. Okay, next, sixth sentence is the first sentence. Okay, first sentence will become the sixth sentence. The special effect, which is the special effects in the film are crucial to the storyline and therefore seamlessly entwined with it. Okay, that should be the sixth sentence. Next, seventh one is somewhere at the end. It is a wonderful experience to view the journey of the unsinkable ship in the mighty ocean, and one cannot help but marvel at technical craftsmanship involved. Okay, so this should be your seventh sentence, and the last sentence is going to be your second sentence. Which is the last sentence? Second sentence. On the whole, it is worth every penny you spend, and you can be sure of going through all the emotions of joy, happiness, hatred, and sorrow. Okay, that should be the last sentence. See how this is a film review. Okay, a review on the movie, the great movie Titanic. Okay, this is an example of review writing. Okay, I mean, it's very brief, but it is an example. Next, there are few steps to follow while writing a review. Which are the steps you need to follow while writing a review? Let us see that. Before writing a review of anything, whether it is a book or a movie or a product or a food item, be sure that you have a good understanding of what you are going to review. You understand it properly. That is the first step. Second step, read or watch or study it as many times as possible as you require and form an opinion about it. You like it or do you agree with it, etc. Form an opinion like that. Okay, so be steady with that. Next, third step, begin a review with an introductory paragraph where you introduce the text or product or service or the movie and mention the title, location, any other detail that is relevant, basic detail. Okay. For example, Titanic, how much money put for it, and who are the actors, what is the theme. That is introductory. Okay. Next step is you can have 2 or more paragraphs in your review. Of course, your review should be divided into paragraphs. Let each paragraph examine any one aspect. I have already told you, one paragraph, one aspect, or one great idea, one main idea. Okay, one main idea, one paragraph. In that way, you have to divide the paragraph. Okay, that is called unity, cohesion, coherence in writing. So your review should be divided into paragraphs, and one aspect, one paragraph, one idea, one paragraph, and use evidences from the text or the movie or the product or the services to prove your saying. Whatever you say, that should be proved. Okay, that should be authenticized, that should be substantiated, that should be elucidated with reference to the movie that you have watched or the book you have read. Okay. So next step, these could be quotes. Okay, any quotes you can give as example, or your own experience you can give as example, or any opinions, others opinions, other writers opinions, or other people's opinions you can give. The opinions you have overheard you can give as example, you can give as authenticity. Okay, then it looks genuine, your review looks genuine and authentic. Next step is concluding paragraph. Okay, concluding paragraph summarizes your points and states your opinion clearly, whether it is good, bad, avoidable, or necessary, etc. Concluding paragraph should be conclusive. Okay, it should be decisive. You should give whether it is worth watching, or it should be avoided, or it is necessary, or it is very good, etc. Okay, that should be your concluding paragraph. Next, the last step is, last but not the least, also recommends, you should also recommend the text, product, or service to your reader. Okay, so if it is worth watching, you should recommend it to your readers. Please go watch it, please go read it. Okay, in that way you should recommend it. So these are the steps to follow the review. There are sample reviews given in your textbook. Okay, few sample reviews are there. Review on mobile phone is there. Okay, and review on a movie Aa Karala Ratri. Okay, Kannada movie. So you just read from the textbook, or it is there in the PPT, you can read it. Right, those few sample reviews. And remember, um, all the reviews are not same, they are not alike. Okay, they may be different, it depends on the writer. For example, Sundar Sarukai, Dr. Sundar Sarukai film review is entirely different, it is not like common. In that way, it depends on the writer. They are not alike, all the reviews are not alike, they are different. Strictly they and they follow the guidelines, of course. Okay, so whatever the steps that we have just read, those guidelines strictly followed, they are followed strictly. And a good review convinces the readers, good review always convinces the readers, and it should be creative enough. Okay, so these points to be noted. Okay, review on mobile phone is there, that you glance through the textbook. And a review on movie is there, Off Greed, Desires and Destruction, it's about Aa Karala Ratri Kannada movie. Okay, so these two sample reviews I have incorporated in the PPT. Okay, you can just go through it. And in the textbook, there are 4-5 sample reviews. You can go through them. Okay, so with this, I'm going to end review writing. Okay, so we have seen review writing definition we saw, and yeah, we also ordered the random sentences of of a review on a Titanic movie. Okay, and we also saw the steps to follow while writing a review, sample reviews we saw. Okay, so This is our first part of the video. Second part, that means in the two language activities are there attached to the lesson. It is time to call the bluff. So first language activity we have seen already, that is review writing. Second language activity is on spelling and punctuation. Okay, let us see now spelling and punctuation. Right. Okay, so English spellings are often confusing for non-native speakers. We are all non-native speakers. England, except English people, people from UK, they are native speakers. We are all non-native speakers. So English spelling confuses us. Okay, majority of the time we get confused with English spellings. That is why this is prescribed for you students. You need to learn all those things, and it is difficult to learn spellings according to some rules, because there are exceptions for each and every rule. Okay, there are rules for spellings, and at the same time it is very difficult to learn spellings through the rules. Why it is difficult to learn the spellings through the rules? Because each rule has an exception. That is why it is difficult. Let us see those rules now. Few rules are given here. First rule is write the letter I before the letter E. Okay, example, take the words, for example, belief, 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 IE. So you concentrate on IE. Some people will get confused whether E should come first or I should come first. So here remember, I should come first, then E. Okay, belief, believe, brief, chief, field, hygiene. Okay, niece, peace, relieved, thief. Okay, let me tell once again: belief, believe, brief, chief, field, hygiene, niece, peace, relieved, thief. Okay, so these are the words. In all these words, IE is come. First I is come, then E. Okay, all these words are pronounced similar. That is E. Belief. E is there. Okay, so that is the pronunciation. Next rule, write the letter E before I when it is preceded by C. Okay, when it is preceded by C, then what happens? I comes first, then E comes first, then I. When it is preceded by C, E comes first, then I. Okay, don't get confused, students. See the example, you will clearly understand. Look at the examples. Ceiling, C is preceded. C is preceding. That is why ceiling. Conceive, sieve. Okay, deceive, sieve. Receipt, receive. See, when it is preceded by C, EI will come. Okay, when it is preceded by C, EI will come. Look at the spelling. CONCEIVE, not not CONCIEV. Okay, so in that way. But neighbor, way, those are exceptions, and pronunciation also is different. And other exceptions are there: ancient, seas, species, height, leisure. Okay, these are all exceptions. So every law has every rule has an exception. That is why spellings confuse you. Okay, so third rule is E suffix rule. That is the third rule. E suffix rule means words ending with E and the suffixes with a consonant. Okay, suffixes should start with consonant sound, and the words ending with E. The words ending with E, if the words ending with E take suffixes with a consonant sound, beginning consonant sound, E remains in the new word. For example, see, advertise. That is a word ending with E. Advertise. What is the spelling? ADVERTISE. Advertise. E is ending. That is the word. If this word, which is ending with E, takes the suffix which starts with consonant sound, that is meant. What happens? E is remained in the new word. Which is the new word here? Advertisement. That is the new word. E is not deleted, it is there. Okay. So other words as example are judgment, manageable, etc. E is retained here. So next rule, let us see the next rule. Words ending with E, if the words ending with E take suffixes with vowel sounds, consonant sounds, E is retained in the new word. But if the suffixes starting with vowel sound, then E is removed. Okay. So let us see the example. See, indicate and indicator. Okay. Indicate and OR is the suffix. It is starting from a vowel sound. OR. Okay. Vowel sound. Or is vowel sound. Indicator. Then E is removed. There is no E. What is the spelling of indicator? INDICATOR. Indicator. Senator. Okay. Senate is the word which is ending with E, but it takes the suffix which is starting with vowel sound, that is or. Senator, storage, these are all the example. Okay. Store, storage, senator, sorry, senate, senator. Okay. So there are exceptions. Which are the exceptions? Argument, argument, ment is suffix, but it is starting from consonant sound, not vowel sound, but E is removed. Agreeable, okay, agreeable, agreeable. Able is starting with vowel sound, but E is not removed here. Exceptions are there. Manageable, same here. Okay, same rule. E is not removed, but suffix is starting with vowel sound. Like this, every rule has an exception. That is why spelling confuses for spelling confuses non-native speakers. So let us see the next rule, double consonants. Double consonants are frequent with words that have suffixes. For example, occurrence, occur, occurrence. Okay. Possession, possession, possession. Questionnaire, referred, double consonant. Okay. RR, double S, double N, double R, etc. Double consonants are frequent with words that have suffixes. This is just a rule. You remember this. Next, the silent E rule. What is the silent E rule? That is the last rule we are talking about in this chapter. Singular words that end with letter S carry the silent letter E. Why? In order to avoid looking like a plural. Okay, plural normally, see, pen, pens, pen, pens. If you add yes, it becomes plural. Okay, so in order to avoid looking like plural, E is added to these words. That is silent E rule. Which are those words? Look at the example, you will understand better. Sees. So it is not ending with yes, it is ending with E. Why? If it ends with yes, it looks like plural. So that is why, in order to avoid seeming to be plural, E is added. But it is silent. Sees. It ends with S sound, not E or A sound. Okay. Pause. Case. Cheese. See, all are ending with E, but E is silent in all these words. Okay, this is silent E rule. Okay, some rules we have discussed here. We have just discussed here. Remember, students, silent E rule, double consonant rule, and words ending with E takes suffixes with vowel sounds with consonant sounds. Okay, so those rules and IEEI rules, all that we saw, and you please remember. Of course, it confuses, but try to remember, read and reread. You will remember very well and practice it also. Yeah, tips to improve spellings. So definitely spellings confuses. So how to use them correctly, how to remember them, how to improve spellings. So there are tips to improve spellings. Which are those? develop the reading habit. If you have the reading habit, definitely your spellings will improve. Okay, develop the reading habit, because the more reading, the more new words you will come across, and the more you remember the new words. Okay, and sight word storage helps you a lot. Why? Because sight vocabulary, and you will match the new words so that you remember the words, new words very well, and learn the spellings of the commonly misspelled words. Misspelled words will be there. Okay, so such words you have to remember them and learn them and remember them in that way. So these are the three tips to improve your spellings. Students, there are exercises on spellings. See, in this way, in this way, questions will be there in your examination. Choose the correct spelled words. Okay, which is the correct spelling. Options will be there. You will have to mark, or you will have to write which is the correct spelled word, correct spelling word. So see, all these underlined words like approve, receipt, memento, argument, conscience, embarrass, apparently, calendar, all these are correct words which are underlined by me. Okay, in the examination you will have to write the correct answer, correct spelled answer. Okay, that is why practice it with the textbook and newspapers and many magazines and other things, write-ups will be there, no? So printed made things and write-ups will be there, books will be there, printed things will be there. So you just read, go on. Reading habit definitely helps you to remember the spellings, right? The more you read, the more you remember the spellings, that you keep it in mind. Next, in the other way also, they may ask the questions related to this topic. Example, choose the right word to fill the blank space. Okay, blank space will be given and options will be there. You have to fill the blank space with the right appropriate word, correct spelled word. See, committee, 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 three types, three words are there, which is the correct spelled word. You have to mark it and fill the blank space. Okay, in that way. So try to do the exercises on your own, uh, and do lots of homework on this, so you will remember spellings properly. Read as much as possible, read the books, read the stories, and so you will remember the spellings very well. And close the book and try to write the spellings. So next, in this language activity, punctuations, let us see. Punctuations are, well, let us first see the definition of punctuation. Punctuation is using non-alphabetical symbols while writing. Okay, so using non-alphabetical symbols while writing is called as punctuation. So these punctuation marks are used to make the meaning clearer in a sentence. Okay, and these punctuations help separating the text into meaningful chunks or units. And these punctuation marks also help one to understand whether it is a question or answering. For example, one person comes and asks you, coming, you, and the other will answer no. Okay, so you can easily make out with the help of this punctuation marks. Why? Because there is a question mark, so it is a question. There is a full stop, so it is an answer. In that way you can make out. Okay, so these punctuations are used to make the sentences understandable. Okay, and make them clearer. Okay, so it also helps the readers to understand, and they also separate the sentences into different units, so that we will understand, readers will understand. Okay, see, look at the other example. While Kalpana was working in the kitchen, the two children, the husband and the grandmother, were sleeping. See, uh, this sentence is divided into many units. Like, Kalpana was working in the kitchen, while Kalpana was working in the kitchen, one part. The two children, second part. The husband and the grandmother were sleeping, third part. Okay, if you divide it, you can easily understand the sentence. Otherwise, it will confuse. Okay, now let us see punctuation marks one by one individually. Our first punctuation mark is capitalization. That means capital letter. Okay, when do we use capital letter? Of course, to start a new sentence, we use capital letter. And secondly, to write a proper noun or adjective derived from it, like India, Indian, Kannada, Kannadiga. We use capital letter. Indian, so capital letter. Kannadiga, capital letter. Tamilian, capital letter. T, capital letter. Okay. In that way, to write proper noun and the derivatives. Okay, so we use capital letter. And third usage is to write proper noun I. We always use capital letter I only, proper noun. And interjection like oh, oh God, oh wow, wow, oh. Okay, first letter will be capital always. And next usage is to write the salutation in a letter. Salutation lines means dear sir, dear madam, etc. So this always starts with capital letter. D capital letter, S capital letter. D, dear madam, D capital letter, M capital letter. Okay, in that way we use caps in salutation line in a letter. And other than this, we also use capital letter to write the titles of newspapers, titles of the epics, titles of the books, titles of the rivers, oceans, buildings, etc. We always use capital letter. For example, the Hindu, the Ganga, the Ramayana, the Arabian Sea, the Taj Mahal, the Malgudi days. Okay, all the initial letters should be capital. Why? Because these are all titles. Next, our last usage is to begin a quotation or a direct speech. We use capital letter. For example, Holmes asked, "Can you tell me his exact height?" "Good heavens, have you nothing to add?" cried Soames. Okay, see, Holmes asked. Of course, proper noun Holmes, H is capital letter. "Can you tell me his exact height?" Can, C is capital letter. This is the starting of the his speech, direct speech. Okay, so direct speech always starts from capital letter. So these are all the usages where we use capital letter. Next quotation mark is comma. Okay, when comma is used, let us see. Comma is an internal punctuation. It is an internal punctuation in the sense it comes within the sentence, in the middle of the sentence. That is why it is internal, and which is used to separate identical words. Okay, comma is used to separate identical words. For example, Rajesh is intelligent, comma, smart, comma, brave, and disciplined. Okay, identical words are here: intelligent, smart, brave. These are identical words. So to use identical, when we are writing identical words, we use comma to separate them. For another example, let us see. India, Australia, England, and Bangladesh will play in World Cup. Okay, India, Australia, England. These are all identical words. So to separate them, we have used comma. This is first usage. Secondly, comma is used to separate an adverbial clause, from the rest of the sentence. To separate an adverbial clause from the rest of the sentence, from the other part of the sentence, we use always a comma. Example, when the sun sets, the cattle will return to their homes. Okay, when the sun sets, the cattle will return to their homes. Okay, to separate an adverbial clause, when the sun sets is the adverbial clause here. So to separate it, we have comma here. We have added comma. The other example, if you work hard, this is adverbial clause. So we have separated with a comma. You will reap the benefit in future. Okay. So in this way, to separate an adverbial clause, we use comma. We also use commas to separate two clauses, not only adverbial clause, the other two clauses containing adjectives and adverbs in a comparative degree. For example, comparative degree, there are 3 degrees in English language. One is positive degree, The other one is comparative degree. The third one is superlative degree. Okay. For example, much, more, most, tall, taller, tallest. These are the degrees. So in comparative degree here, uh, uh, to separate clauses containing adverbs and adjectives, we use comma. For example, see the example, you will understand better. For example, the earlier, the better. The earlier, the better. The earlier, comma, the better. If you come earlier, it is better in that way. The earlier, the better. The higher we go, the cooler it is. The higher we go, comma, cooler it is. In that way, to separate comparative degrees which contains adjectives and adverbs, we use comma. We also use comma to separate a noun or phrase in apposition. Apposition, not opposition. Apposition. For example, mango, the king of fruits. Mango, comma, the king of fruits is loved by all. Mango, the king of fruits. The king of fruits is apposition, okay, to mango. That is why to separate apposition, noun phrase and noun phrase, we use comma here. Abdul Kalam, second example. Abdul Kalam, former president of India, was a great lover of children. Abdul Kalam, former president. This is called apposition. Noun and noun phrase. Abdul Kalam is noun. Former president, noun phrase. Okay, former president of India. To separate these two, we use comma. Okay. Next, so this is the usage of comma. Next punctuation mark is question mark. When do we use question mark? Of course, to tell that sentence is a question, we use question mark. So question mark are a note of interrogation. This is also called as a note of interrogation. So question mark or a note of interrogation is used at the end of a question. For example, when did you when did you come to the chamber? Okay, whom do you suspect? So these are all question mark questions which end with question mark. Next, our next punctuation mark is full stop or period. Full stop is also called as period mark. Okay, full stop or period is the longest pause at the end of an assertive or imperative sentence. So assertive or imperative sentence examples. I am indeed pleased to hear that from you. Please do this favor to me. Okay, so at the end, full stop is there. I am indeed pleased to hear that from you, full stop. Please do this favor to me, full stop. To end any sentence except a question or exclamatory mark, full stop is used. That means period is used. And other than this, period or full stop is also used to mark abbreviations like BSc, BCA, B.C.A. Okay, initials like Dr. T.K. Nagraj, Miss A.R. Chandralekha. Okay, between the initials also we use dots. Okay, dot mark in the sense full stop or period. Next, our next punctuation mark is exclamation, exclamatory mark. Okay, exclamation means sudden burst of emotions, any kind of emotions, positive or negative emotions. So exclamation mark is used after interjections. Interjections in the sense emotional words, emotional sentences. And after phrases, so it may be a sentence or just a phrase or just a single word, mono word. Sentences expressing sudden emotions or sudden wish, those types of sentences or phrases or expressions are called as exclamations. Okay, for example, how melodious the song is, exclamatory mark. Okay, in a vertical line and a dot, that is exclamatory mark. May God bless you, exclamatory mark. What a tragedy, exclamatory mark. Okay, positive or negative, sudden burst of emotions. So that is that such expressions take exclamatory mark. Next, last punctuation mark that we are going to discuss in this chapter is inverted commas or quotation marks. Inverted commas are also called as quotation marks. which are used to give a quotation are exactly the words spoken by a person. Okay, exactly the words spoken by a person in this is direct speech. Okay, for example, we also saw Holmes' example. What is his exact height? That is direct speech only. So, in order to mark the direct speech, we use quotation marks. Here, another example is given. Uh, there is the man who set me in the right path. All these things are in quotation marks. Shows that it is direct speech said by whom? Gilchrist. Okay. So, there is the man who set me in the right path, quotation marks complete and a comma, said Gilchrist. Next example, she said, comma, start the quotation marks, kindly allow me to attend the seminar, closing of the quotation mark, quote unquote we say. Okay, this is the first usage. That means in order to mark the direct speech, we use quotation marks. Secondly, we also use quotation marks when in a reported speech. Okay, in a reported speech we use quotation marks. It will be marked by single inverted commas if quotes comes if quotes come within the quotes. Okay, we use single inverted comma to differentiate that quote within the quote. For example, look at the example, you will clearly understand. Two quotes overall. Okay, so one quotation mark, and within that quotation mark one more quotation. That means two direct speeches will be there. So in order to differentiate, in order to make out the differences, we use internal direct speech single quotation, outer direct speech double quotation. Okay, look at the example. Holmes said, comma, quote means quotation marks start. Watson says, comma, internal quotation, internal direct speech starts. It is going to be tough. Both the quotations will close. Both the direct speech will close at one time. That is why three quotation, that means single inverted comma is there, double inverted comma is there. Okay, so there it ends. Next example, Gilchrist said to Holmes, comma, Mr. Holmes, comma, Soames says, single inverted comma starts, there lives a robber in the forest. Okay, see here Gilchrist is saying what Soames said. Okay, Soames said is internal direct speech and Gilchrist is saying outer direct speech. In that way, two speeches, direct speeches are there in the sense. Inner speech will take single inverted comma, outer speech will take double inverted comma. Okay, so for this thing we use inverted commas. These are the two usages of inverted commas. Dear students, we have come to the end of our video. Okay, we have finished our punctuations. Here are certain examples, some examples on quotation marks, sorry, not only quotation marks, punctuation marks. Look, and you have to, in this way, without any punctuations, without any punctuation marks, sentences will be given in the examination. What is your duty? You will have to mark the punctuations. See here, first sentence. Why are you crying? Asked the teacher. No punctuations are here, just only words. So what you have to do? W you have to make capital. Okay, and why are you crying? The whole thing keep it in the double inverted comma, within double inverted comma. After that, put a comma. Ask it the teacher. Full stop. Okay, in that way. Here, second sentence. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Where is the nearest ATM? Okay, E should be capital. Sir, after sir, put a comma. Start inverted commas. Where is the nearest ATM? Put a question mark. Since it is a question, then close the double inverted comma. Next, third question. Huh, it is an exclamatory expression. Huh, how strange. How did this happen? So, huh, how strange. A should be capital. How strange. After that, put exclamatory mark, then comma. How did this happen? Put a question mark. How, H capital letter. In that way, you and see Mr. Chandra, M capital, after Mr. Put full stop. C made it capital. Okay, Chandra, Mr. Chandra, uh, put a comma, then start double inverted commas. I am not happy with the progress of the project. Close the inverted commas, full stop. Okay, next, last question. That also I'll give you the answer, but you have to practice at home. Okay, did you say you have done BSc? Did you say you have done BSc? uh, D capital letter. uh, did you say, after say put a comma, you have done, did you say you have done BSc? You have done BSc, put uh, no need of inverted commas. It is not direct speech. Did you say, comma, you have done BSc? BSc should be abbreviated. B should be capital letter. S should be capital letter. C should be capital letter. And after B, put a dot. After S also put dot, and C also put dot. It is an abbreviation. That is why. Okay. So in and full stop. Full stop means abbreviation. That period serves as full stop also. Just one dot. Okay, at the end. So in that way, you have to punctuate the sentences. In this way, questions will be there in the examination. So read it carefully and go on marking the punctuations. Practice makes human perfect. You have to practice grammar. You should practice. Then only you can become perfect. You can score out of out marks in grammar if you practice it. With this, I am going to end the video, dear students. In our video, we talked about spellings, punctuations, review writing, all that. Okay, and spelling rules we talked about, exceptions we talked about, different punctuations marks we have talked about. We saw the exercises related to each activity, language activity. Okay, so steps of writing a review. Film review especially, we saw the sample reviews and all, right? So all this we discussed in this video, dear students. Thank you for listening to me all this time. So that's all I had for this video. Thank you once again. I am going to end the meeting.